This was me, March of 2025. 3 months later, I got shredded. I did not starve myself or counted my calories. I just followed a simple diet that anyone can copy. So without wasting more time, let's begin. There are 4 things you have to get right for this diet to actually work. Most people only focus on the first one, but every time I see someone fail, it's because they missed one of the others. When I first started going to the gym, I was overweight, and of course I wanted to lose fat, so I did what everyone does. I tried to eat healthy. I could be consistent for a week or 2, but then I would always relapse. I tried counting my calories, but honestly I hated it. I even tried to starve myself so I could reach a calorie deficit, but that just left me miserable and with low amount of energy throughout the day. I could never figure out why fat loss was so hard. But with trial and error, you slowly get closer to the truth. After years of trying to lose weight, I finally realized what really matters. The things you actually need to achieve if you want to lose weight, because the overweight me thought that it was super complicated to lose weight, that you needed to get 100 different things right. But now, after finally succeeding, I know the best diet is always a simple one. You don't need to watch 50 different videos or overthink it. By the end of this video, you will understand how simple I made it for myself. So let's get into the first point, and that is a calorie deficit. Now, you have probably already heard of a calorie deficit, but what does it actually mean? The foods we eat have calories or energy, and we need to burn more energy than what we eat during the day. If you're not in a calorie deficit, you literally can't lose fat. Now, when you hear this, you might think I will just eat less food and lose fat. Well, it's a yes and no. There are 2 problems that come up when you eat less food. The first is, if you don't get enough nutrients, you will start to lose muscle mass. Your body will start to use your muscles as fuel source. The second problem is feeling hungry all the time. It's really brutal on your mental health. It's not possible in the long run. And now, let's talk about the biggest enemy when it comes to trying to stay in a calorie deficit, and that is snacks. Most people aren't overweight from eating too much salad. It's the donuts, the chips, the chocolate, sugar is the main problem. So what can you actually do about it? Because everyone around us tells us all the time that if you want to lose weight, just stop eating snacks. And this is my response all the time. If it was that easy, nobody would be overweight. So here's a few tricks and tips that I use to control my cravings. The first is, when you get cravings, always buy the smaller portion. Seriously, you don't need a whole chocolate bar to satisfy that craving. The smaller packs are more than enough. The second trick I use is that most people don't get cravings in the morning. It's usually at evening time or later towards night time. So what I do is, I eat my dinner later in the day, because the best way to control your cravings is to have a full stomach. Maybe you have realized you usually get your sugar cravings when you're really hungry. So if your stomach is full, you won't get as much cravings as you did before. The third trick I used, when you start to crave sugar or something sweet, learn to do your own recipes. Look up healthier recipes you can make at home. For example, I make my own mud cakes with Greek yogurt and protein powder. It controls my cravings, but with way less calories and a lot more protein. These are 3 things that I use so I can stay in a calorie deficit. Let's talk about building muscle in a calorie deficit. It is possible to do that, but in order for it to work, you need to eat a lot of protein. Because if you don't get enough protein, your body will start to use your muscle mass as fuel source instead of your fat. So when you go down in weight, you're actually going down in muscle mass instead of fat mass. So that is why it's so important for us to eat protein. And there are a bunch of studies that show that you can maintain or even build muscle mass in a calorie deficit. For example, this study from 2020 found that even trained individuals can experience body recomp. Body recomp just means building muscle and losing fat at the same time. But here's the catch. When I looked like this, I wasn't able to build any muscle mass because I was too lean. But when I looked like this, I made a lot of progress and there wasn't any issue for me to keep building muscle mass. So the next question is, how much protein should you actually eat? I would recommend anywhere from 0.8 to 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. But if you're overweight, let's say you weigh 250 pounds, 250 grams of protein is a bit too much. I would recommend that you aim for your ideal body weight. If your body weight goal is 180 pounds, try to get anywhere between 144 to 180 grams of protein per day. So now I can show you what I eat and some life hacks that I use that makes a calorie deficit 10 times easier. So what I eat is tuna, chicken breast, wings, drumstick, ground beef, egg, salmon. What do all of these have in common? They're all high protein whole foods. I just eat the basics. The reason I recommend whole foods is because it's more nutrient dense. The second reason is because per 100 gram processed food usually has more calories in it. The third reason is because whole foods keeps your energy level stable throughout the day compared to processed foods. Now when you see this list, you might think this is way too dry for me, and I understand why you say that. So what I do is add a low calorie sauce on the side, usually barbecue sauce or ketchup. Just pick a low calorie sauce you like. I always eat until I'm full. The beautiful thing about unprocessed foods is that it doesn't mess with your hormones. So when you've had enough food, your body will tell you, okay, I'm done, I don't need any more food. This means that you don't need to count your calories. You don't need to starve yourself because you only need to listen to your body. These are the exact foods that got me shredded. Maybe you have realized I don't really eat carbs. It's not that I'm against carbs, it's just I work better with a low carb diet. My energy level is more stable, I don't get brain fog. But if you like to eat carbs, then add a little potatoes or rice to the side and you're good to go. It's not the end of the world. Another great thing about unprocessed foods is that it keeps you full for way longer. I only eat 2 times a day and it's honestly very easy for me to follow. Now, I'm going to show you some tricks that I use to make this diet 10 times easier. If we don't get hungry, we won't eat as much. So how do you lower your appetite without adding too many calories? Well, there are 2 tricks that I use that anyone can copy. The first is coffee. The main reason everyone drinks coffee isn't for the taste, it's the caffeine. Caffeine gives you energy, but it also helps you lower your appetite. For me, I like to drink my coffee in the morning. That way, I don't get hungry for the first few hours. I eat my first meal at 12. Now, if you don't drink coffee, then I would at least recommend my second trick. Protein is by far the most filling macronutrient. So what I do is during the day, I have a high protein snack. I just pour a little bit of water into a bowl, throw in a scoop of protein powder and add about 200 grams of low fat, high protein yogurt. I mix it up and eat it. It's an easy way to lower your appetite and get your protein up at the same time. Now this video, it was quite a lot of information, so to summarize everything, you need to reach 4 criteria. The first is a calorie deficit. You need to eat less calories than what you burn. The second criteria is a high protein diet, anywhere from 0.8 to 1 grams of protein per pound of body weight. The third is you need to eat the right foods. High protein unprocessed meat. It helps you to keep being full and it's the healthiest for your body. The fourth is use caffeine and high protein snacks to keep your appetite under control. Now in order to build muscle in a deficit, you need to get enough protein, but you also need to learn how to train right. You need to learn how to maximize your training, and in this video I explain how I was able to lose fat and build muscle at the same time. So watch this next.